It's 2005 versus 2024. Which one's better? Let's find out. So here on the left I have LEGO City set number 7248, simply called Digger, and this was first released in 2005 and it was available until the end of 2008, with the original retail price of only £10 here in the UK. It came with one minifigure, this little side build, and the excavator itself. Whereas here on the right we've got the LEGO City Construction Excavator, which was new for 2024. It's still available on shelves and has a retail price of £50, so 5 times the price as that one. This set, however, comes with 3 minifigures. I've got the driver of the excavator here, also a couple of barriers, again only showing one here at the moment, but look at the size difference. I guess it only makes sense since you're paying 5 times the price of that one. So starting off with the comparisons between the two main excavators themselves, I mean the size is the obvious one. The second one would be the colour scheme. Here we have the more traditional LEGO yellow colour, whereas the new one here uses the kind of bright light orange or flame yellowish orange colour, which at first I didn't expect, because even up until recent years LEGO City construction vehicles have still used the standard yellow colour. So this new one for 2024 kind of breaks the mould, but in a good way, because I like this new colour scheme. It works really well with the contrast against the black here. Definitely does look quite modern. So yeah, I wonder if future LEGO City vehicles for the construction sub theme will also use this new yellow colour rather than the old one. And of course, since both of these excavators do have treads, let's talk about those. So for the new one, well, I prefer, they move a lot smoother, I would say, but they also do have some cheetah wheels in there to kind of help them stay on track and everything, but they are so much more fiddly because you have to put each individual one together and then attach it in the end. So yikes, that takes its time. Whereas back in 2005, LEGO had these single piece treads. Just pop those on the wheels, no problem. You don't need to worry about fiddling to put those together. They don't have any cheetah wheels, but they do have a lot of kind of friction to them, I would suppose, so you have no issue with getting that over any surface. And it's also fair to say that this one looks a little bit more exposed and open, whereas the new one here, it's completely covered up and full of details. But then again, the prices were different. £10 for this set, £50 for this one. The 2005 set only had 127 pieces, and yeah, you can see that because there's a few, like I said, gaps here and there, and oh, that part just fell off, that's okay. Minifigure accessories there, which can clip onto the side nicely, which actually, does the new excavator have anywhere to clip minifigure accessories? No, not onto it directly, but it does have a storage compartment, and inside is some engine detailing. You can just open this up at the back. There's some engine detailing and some more space for storage, which also appeared on the original one back in 2005. No engine detailing in here, but there is storage space, and it's supposed to be that you put your little barrier in there to keep it safe. You can put your accessories in there as well. Another thing is that this one, looks a little bit strange. Why isn't it rotating 360 degrees? Well, it can, but you have to do something first. As you can see, it's actually locked in place. It is on a turntable, a rather loose turntable at that, which I'll show you in a moment, but you have to lift up the cab, the windscreen, and pop out this axle piece and probably get that lost somewhere. I guess you could keep it safe in your storage compartment at the back. Pop that down and ta-da! Now you can rotate it 360 degrees, but yeah, there is no friction in that turntable. It will just spin so loosely, which I could imagine would be rather annoying actually. I'm trying to grab it to drive it and I have to pick the whole thing up and then do it. And you can't exactly that could be a little bit fiddly. So it's a little surprising to see how little friction there is. Like, sure, you want to make it easy to play, but I feel like that could be a little bit annoying actually. Whereas the new one for 2024, well, you can just spin that however you like. It does not have any locking mechanism to it, and there's plenty of friction. It's actually attached via a ball joint, not a turntable, so there is more friction to it, but you can still rotate it 360 degrees, no problem if you're holding it. Oh yeah, and another thing, the 2005 one is just a little bit more fragile with its building techniques because things keep popping off all over the place, which is not something I've experienced with the new one here. Everything is solid, it is packed, you have multiple parts locking together, which again would explain why it's got a higher price count, I suppose. If you had less pieces, obviously you have to cut corners somewhere. But with the cab section falling off, that brings me nicely over to the next comparison where you can see the cab. Well, there's nothing really to it. You got 4 studs down there, and sometimes minifigure legs can get stuck, which I've had happen to me. You've got a single steering wheel, and that's it. Whereas on the new one, as you can see, you've got more detail, got a nice roll cage on the front. Doesn't hinge open though, so you do have to kind of remove the whole module. And inside, you don't have a steering wheel, but you do have a printed console piece and a couple of small levers there to represent details. Only 2 studs to secure the minifigure so the legs don't get stuck, so that's pretty handy. But now I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Get it? Because it's an elephant branded vehicle. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Now that's because the arms are just so different. This one is so beefy, isn't it? And the bigger bucket as well, so you can really scoop things up with that, no problem. Sure, the old one, yeah. You can really articulate that a whole lot more than the new one can. It can stretch right out. You can scoop things up, lift it up high if you want to. Obviously, it could go lower. So if you were kind of digging below ground, you could do that as well and drive away. Even kind of have fun culling that right up. With the new one, well, yeah, you can move this and you can move that, but you can't move it here. That's really annoying. The one thing I said about this in my review of this set is I just wanted to bend this arm here. And you can't do it, so disappointing. Although it is fair to say that the new arm does use a lot more parts and it is a lot more detailed and just looks more finished off, apart from the anti-studs showing here, which I didn't like. Whereas for the old one, yeah, you got a couple of sticker details on there, but otherwise you got all these exposed studs on top, a couple of grill pieces that kind of represent some vents maybe. But I would rather have lack of detail and more articulation than more detail and less articulation. Maybe that's just me. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. But now let's talk about the minifigures. Back in 2005 with the Digger, we only had one figure, and I still think he looks pretty good. Even nearly 20 years later, I think LEGO could throw that minifigure into a new set and it'd be perfectly fine. I don't have any issues with it. It doesn't have any alternate face prints or anything, but it's a good looking figure, honestly. Whereas with the new Construction Excavator, we got 3 minifigures included, which I honestly thought was rather generous of them, to be honest. They could have, I think given the price, 1 wouldn't have been enough, but I think 2 would have been okay. The fact we got 3, we got the driver for the digger, another construction worker in the middle, and this kind of architect or foreman here as well. And look at that, some things never change. We're still using the same red construction hard hats. But I would say that the new set does have the upper hand when it does come to its minifigures. And that's not even just because it comes with more. But look at that, the guy in the middle has leg printing. You would never expect a Lego City minifigure to have leg printing back in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. It just wasn't a thing. I don't think many other figures from other themes would have had leg printing either, maybe apart from some licensed themes, but for Lego City, that would just be unheard of. But that's not all, because these new minifigures, well, they just keep getting better and better, don't they? That's because you can take their helmets off and they have extra hair pieces to use instead. You would never have gotten that back in the day. In fact, sometimes you still don't get it now. So, LEGO, you're doing a great job there. Include hair pieces if they get helmets as well. You know, it costs you nothing extra, right? And it's just more stuff for us. Back here for this guy, well, maybe he's just got no hair. And all the minifigures do get accessories in both sets. Obviously, with just the one minifigure back in 2005, he gets 2 accessories there, a shovel and a jackhammer. And then for the new set for 2023, each minifigure gets 1 accessory. So we've got our excavator driver there with the walkie-talkie, our builder with a jackhammer, which is actually the same jackhammer piece which they had 19 years ago. And this printed tile that our architect gets as his accessory, that's a really nice one. It's some blueprints of a Lego City building. Another quick comparison between the 2 sets is that they both came with these construction warning hazard barriers, essentially. Keep clear, work is in progress. Back in 2005 we had just the one, and here in 2024 we get 2 of them, but both years offered printed tiles. That's good, no stickers here. Although personally I prefer the kind of classic black and yellow stripes, and I think this build technique, it's so simple but it's a lot sturdier than this one, which uses more pieces, but it's just a little bit more flimsy to me. But I did like how the signs are bigger and just the fact that you get 2 of them. But that's not all, because the new set for 2024 also comes with these spare bricks, which can be used as kind of rubble and debris that your excavator is digging up. And in 2005 we got, oh yeah, nothing. So I think it's really nice that LEGO included the extra parts in this new set. But you know what, I think both of these sets are really good in their own right. Sure, there's a couple of flaws with the old one, but that's to be expected. The new minifigures are pretty cool, but together, they just look so good. The original set had 127 pieces, and the new one has 633. As you can see, there is quite a size difference in terms of the box. You could pick up the old set between 2005 and 2008 for about £10 here in the UK, which is roughly £18 in today's money. And after building it, yeah, I agree. I do think that's probably where this would be. Perhaps throw in another minifigure, and LEGO would definitely sell a set kind of like this. Perhaps the build would be a bit more refined these days, but definitely under that £20 mark, I think. Perhaps 25 at max, but that's how LEGO tend to do their pricing. Whereas the new set, £50 at full retail, and yikes, that £10 worth it. This £50, not exactly. I don't want to pay any more than £40 for it, and luckily I did manage to get it on discount. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends.